Stand out, don't fit in. This is Now Tell Us. I'm your host, Anthony Murore. At Now Tell Us, we have guests come and tell us stories. They come and inspire us. They come and educate us on a subject that they are passionate about. And always, we have great guests who come and join us here. And when I say always, today is that another other special day that we have a special guest, a great guest, who's just going to tell us about what I said in the beginning. Stand out, don't fit in. His name is Agi Keramidas. And I don't want to say much because he's going to tell us much once he comes here. So, why don't you join me as we go to meet our guest today, Agi? And let's hear what he has to tell us about standing out. Here we go. Hi, Agi.
Hi, Anthony. It's great to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. We are excited to have you at Now Tell Us.
Thank you. And finally, we made it.
We made it. We made it. There comes that day when everything just works out right and you just do
Mhm.
everything that you've been planning to. And here we are. Where in the world are you? I like asking people. I like to know how we are getting expansion all over the world. Where in the world are you?
I'm in England, in the UK, in a town called Colchester. Uh,
Colchester. That's a hard
yes,
one
it
for me.
it is. Let's say close to London. It's 1 hour away from London, not very far.
How's the weather there? I'm always hearing people talk about the weather.
Look, it's February, so the weather here is. I'm trying to find some polite words to use, but it's it's difficult. Today it's been raining all day. It's grey and let's say not that cheerful.
Okay. Okay. But we see you have a smile on. I guess that you're dealing with it. You're okay with it.
Anthony, I left Greece, my home country, which I know that that's where you live at the moment,
Yes.
14 years ago to come to England. And I didn't come for the weather. I knew that the weather in Greece is so much better than England. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's something, yes, I deal with it. I do my best not to let it affect me. I still miss the sun for sure.
Mhm.
But
We are enjoying the sun here. Yeah, we
yeah.
are enjoying the sun. Yeah. So, what could have made you to leave such a good weather, good climate, and move to London, or rather to the UK?
And good food, I will add. I
And good,
suppose you
oh,
agree. Yes.
definitely, and good food. Salata. We have the Greek salata or Greek salad in this case. Why leave with the Greek salad and come to
Uh, I,
this
I I will, yes, for sure. These are the things that I have missed. But to answer your question, I left Greece when I was in my 30s because even though on the outside my life seemed to be going really well, I was, a dentist working there in my home town. I was engaged to be married, so on the outside things were, looking to be well, but on the inside I felt really empty, like something was missing. I was not happy at all, and I really couldn't see myself living the same or similar life like my parents had. Uh, so it took me a long time, a few years, and a lot of deliberation to
hmm
eventually reach the decision that I felt a calling at the same time for England. Since I was a teenager, I was fascinated with anything English, from the pop music, they had the British music, or the fact that they would drive on the other side of the road, all these things. I found them very intriguing.
Yeah.
So, I had a calling towards that. And I realized that I needed to take that calling, to listen to that calling, and do the move.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I was in my mid 30s, I took the decision and I went on my own, with two suitcases and a one-way ticket in my pocket.
Mm.
I left my, my dental practice, my fiancé, my friends, family, and started a new life in England. That was 14 years ago, and it's been I say it's one of the best decisions I've ever taken. My life changed so much as a result of
Wow.
this.
Wow, it's good to hear that. And it's good to hear that story that you share, because I come across people who are going through some things in their own life. You may, just as you say, you may see a smile on their face, but you don't know what is going on beneath. You don't know what they are going through. And I'm also curious. Apart from you wanting to go and enjoying the pop music and also driving on the left side of the road, what was because this was a calling that you tell us there was a calling. What could have been that thing that was making you sad because you are comparing it to your parents? What could have been your parents going through that was not so good that made you feel bad?
My parents' life had a wonderful life, and they still do. They're still alive. I'm blessed with that. And
Oh, that's good.
but it was for them. It was not for me. That was not the kind of life that I wanted
Mm,
to
mhm.
have. And I mentioned the British pop music and these things. This, of course, was not the reason.
Yeah.
The calling was really an inner desire. It was coming from my heart rather than my mind. It was like a calling, a drawing me there. I didn't know what it was, but I decided to trust it
Mhm,
because also one of the reasons was that the way that my life was there and the way that I could see it evolving was really not to my liking, and
mhm,
it was it was not an easy decision, but I'm so glad that I did it, and because that actually led me very much more to build to trust in my heart in or my instinct or my intuition in taking the decisions in life. That was a very big lesson from me at that time, that evolved very much or changed me as the approach I take to decisions and life in general.
yeah, and I can I know it's not an easy thing for many people to come to that point of decision where they say, I'm gonna make a big change in my life. I don't know what's gonna come out of the steps that I'm taking right now, or the changes I want to implement in my life, but then I've got to take a step because I feel that I need to. So it's not easy for many people, and we applaud you for taking that step.
It's not easy, but it's worth it.
It's
So,
it's worth it's worth
and
it.
usually the things that are worth it are
Mm,
not easy.
sure, sure, sure. Now, I come across your profile and something stands out. And what stands out is that phrase, stand out, don't fit in. It's something that I can tell you have a passionate in. Why? Tell us the thing, the story behind that.
Yes, thank you for the question. Stand out, don't fit in is the phrase that I always use on my podcast at the end of the podcast, and
Yeah.
the meaning or the personal meaning behind that. And when I say, first of all, let me explain what I mean. When I say stand out, I don't mean in a way um, superior to others,
Mm,
because standout can be interpreted in different ways. For me, standing out, and what I encourage my listeners to also do,
mhm,
stand out is to be who you really are, your authentic self, to do the things that are you. That's
Okay.
mean that is standing out. And standing out, when you do that, when you are your authentic self, then inevitably you tend to, that is the standout than many people, or the majority, unfortunately,
Mm-hmm.
the people
Mm-hmm.
that are doing the exact opposite, which is fitting in, or doing things that are either expected of them, or they're not satisfying, or because they are certain, I don't know, ethnicity, or all these social and other constructs or programs we have.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, that way you blend in. Many people blend in, and I know that I will hold my hand up, because I was exactly like that, and that is the personal thing. I was doing everything I could in my power to fit in very well, and not, so that I won't have any, I was quite shy and
Yeah.
reserved and introverted, all these things. So standing out was really not comfortable for me. The most comfortable thing was, to be one of many, so
Mm-hmm.
that the spotlight would never be on me. Because if the spotlight came on me,
Mm-hmm.
I would feel very, very uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So that is, one way of explaining how the standout, don't fit in, came for me personally. And then I started using it in the podcast, and now it's been like 4 years that it has become a very much of a, my thing when I end the podcast all the time. But I truly mean it. And being and becoming who you truly are inside you, your authentic self, that is, it really leads to beautiful things.
Good, good, good one. And how did you manage to? Because yeah, how did you manage to stand out? How did you manage to come out of your cocoon? That place where you yeah. Tell us how you.
Anthony, there are two ways I could answer your question. One would be to say that it happened rather suddenly, because I had and it would be true, because I had a light bulb moment during a Tony Robbins event back in
Mm,
2017, and that really changed very much my. It reorganized, shall we say, something inside my mind, my belief system, or
mm-hmm.
and then I started changing it from there. But it is not how I changed. That was the trigger for
Okay.
change. It was a
Okay.
very, very intense uh, trigger, and that's why I call it a light bulb moment. It
Mm-hmm.
was an epiphany, if you want,
Yeah. Yeah.
to use a Greek word.
That's, I know we always use Greek words. Yes.
But after that, it has been a journey of self-exploration, of personal development, on taking consistent action, on being disciplined, on doing the things outside of the comfort zone. So it wasn't like after Tony Robbins immediately I was confident and I was able to stand out and be my authentic self. I That was when I really started the journey in a very dedicated way, because I saw clearly how my life had been up to that point, because of my you know behavior with other people,
Mm-hmm.
or that thing I was saying earlier, the reservedness. And I realized that that's not how I want to live the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I changed it, and I'm changing it. As I said, it is a journey. It is
Yeah. It
no,
is a
there is
journey.
no destination there on the road to mastery, to self mastery. You
Yeah.
never arrive.
Yeah. And I discovered that your podcast is known as Personal Development Mastery. So that's what you're working towards. Mm, mastery.
The
Yeah.
I will tell you, just I remembered what you said when you said about the podcast. When I first started the podcast, Personal Development Mastery, which was over 4 years now, uh, I thought that this was a cool name. I thought, oh, personal development. I was into personal development. And I thought mastery. That sounds really cool. So let me name it like that.
Okay.
And a couple of months after I had started it, I realized that without knowing, I had set the bar very high for myself because
Mm,
I realized, I thought, oh my God, what have I done? Can I do this? And so I had to start rising up to the name. The name of the podcast, was pulling me because it was about mastery. It was
mhm,
not personal development conversations
mhm.
or something like that. So
Yeah.
I didn't know at that time, but now it has become really a way of living for me, and a passion and a mission.
That's
Mm.
a cool one. That's a cool one. And I feel you. I feel you when you say that. Because I have also set myself some, could I call them goals? Just put a dream out there and I say, I'm going to do this. And then after that, I'm like, is it me who said that? And then now you're put to task to prove yourself that what you have put out there is what you really are and what you really can be. So and as you say, it's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it to challenge yourself, and it's worth it to just come out of your comfort zone and improve yourself.
It certainly is. If
Mhm.
that's not worth it, I don't know what is,
Yeah.
Anthony.
Yeah, because mostly we are comfortable with the day-to-day happenings. I come out of my house, I go to work, I come back in the evening, and whatever will be, let it be. And we don't pay much attention to important things that need some effort, some dedication, some commitment in order to improve them. So we just live life just like that. Many of the many
Yeah,
of us live life just
unfortunately.
like that, unfortunately. So it's good to be called to mastery. That's what Agi is reminding us. Yes, let's be masters of our fate. Let's put the effort in what it is that we want to see happening in our own life, and we will improve. We will progress. And I came across, as I'm going through your profile, I came across this phrase, knowledge broker.
Mm.
Why? Why? What's that? What do you say? What do you mean when you say no?
Knowledge broker, you are also a knowledge broker, Anthony. And when I explain what it is, you will understand why.
Okay, tell us.
Because in this time that we live in on, there is such an abundance of information. We're drowning in information, one could
Mhm,
say. Yet at the same time, we're starving for wisdom, for doing something. That information is too much, so that it's so much that it can be useless
mm,
because one cannot do anything with it, cannot process all that. So the knowledge broker, in my interpretation, is someone who takes this knowledge, or let's say clusters of this knowledge, like what I do with my podcast or my book, my work in general, and distill that knowledge into something actionable, something that is both insightful, that someone would listen or read and say, this makes sense, I would like to do it, but also the action itself. Because,
mhm,
personal development, when I look at it, I see there are two distinct parts in it. The first part is to know what to do, and that's the easy thing. The second part is to do what you know. So
mm,
to take the action, and the action, in my experience anyway, it's very rarely a one-off action that, okay, now I've taken this one action and everything has changed forever.
mhm,
It's usually an ongoing action that needs to be taken, consistency.
mm,
So that's how I look. The knowledge broker, someone that will provide that actionable insight,
Mm-hmm.
or something that one who listens can pick it up and implement it into their life. And then of course it's going to be the repetition that will change their life, or change the trajectory of it.
Mm. That's
So I
true.
think do you think that you are one as well, now that I've explained the
Yes, I am. Yeah, I could be a knowledge broker.
yes you are.
I could.
Yes you are.
Yeah. So you've been doing this podcast for the last 4 years, as you say.
Mm.
And it's not only you. I know you've been bringing in guests. How has it been? Has it been hard for you? Has it been easy? Tell us, how has been your experience these 4 years that you've been doing podcasting?
There have been easy times, there have been hard times, there have been all sorts. It's again, it is a journey. So a journey is never, plain sailing. There's going to be bumps or storms or things like that
Mm-hmm.
that could come even with in the form of loss of motivation to to carry on, because I've been posting 2 episodes a week for 4 years. So that's I'm closing to 400 episodes now,
Mm.
375. Uh, so there have been some, difficult times, some easy ones. If you ask me about the interviews in particular,
Mm-hmm.
I have spoken with, I think it's 220 people so far on the podcast.
Okay.
Some of them quite, on a high caliber in the personal development world, like Brian Tracy or Dr. John Demartini from The Secret.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I have, Anthony, I will say that personally, I have learned so many things from these conversations that has been probably, if not the most, certainly one of the most important factors of my growth
Mm-hmm.
these years. It's connecting with all these wonderful, exceptional people and learning from them, and asking the questions. And I'm sure that you would agree with me, because you also do the same. The learning that you get firsthand,
Yeah.
it is incredible and useful. And you also, you direct the conversation also, so you can learn what it is that you want to learn, which
Sure.
is
Sure.
yeah.
Now, in your journey of, of the podcast, what is your most memorable or maybe favorite time that you've had? Has it been a topic that you have handled, or maybe one of the guests that you had on the show and you said, "Whoa, this has been the best episode that I have done"? Do you remember such?
It's a difficult question, and it's impossible really to select the best. I can select certainly some of my favorites, but it is not. Uh, it's never one.
Mm,
But the one that comes to my mind right now, there are many. Okay,
yeah.
and it's interesting because when someone asks me this question, another one comes to my mind. It's not always the same. The one that comes to me now is episode 288.
Okay.
I remember it. It was with Victoria Raider, and the title of the who is a coach, a possibility coach, and a PhD, very unique individual, blending the spiritual element with the highly academic element.
Mm-hmm.
And the title of the episode was How to Manifest Miracles.
Mm,
And I think that episode, and that's the reason why I'm sharing it now, it had a powerful energy inside it.
mm-hmm.
And I have You might call me naive, but I do have the feeling that indeed that episode has created or manifested some miracles for some of the people who listened to it, that really believed that that can do it for them. Actually, this is the first time I'm sharing this, so thank you for the question.
And it's good that you're sharing this. That's why you're here to tell us. And it's fresh in my mind now that you talk about episode 288. And then still in your profile, I come about across.
Ah, that's familiar.
I come across a book is written 88 Actionable Insights for Life. Has it got
Yes.
anything to do with the 288 episode and now this one, the 88 Actionable Insights?
Anthony, I had never thought of this. Wow.
Oh,
Now you,
there's
you
always
gave me goosebumps. No, I had not connected the eights. No. Wow. But I will look into it. I
uh-huh.
think there is some kind of resurgence of that eight number and
Yes.
this the 88. I like it very much that when you look at it sideways, it's like the symbol of infinity. So the eight has a very uh, mystical, if you
Yeah.
want, meaning for me. And it just came to me the number because initially I wanted to put 100,
Okay.
and then I realized 100. I couldn't actually. I couldn't find 100. And I thought maybe I should cut down a little bit. Why should I do 100? And then the 88 jumped at me. This is the number. I thought, okay, let me do 88, and that's how it worked.
And at that time, did you think that it's coming to 88 because of the infinity aspect? Or it
No,
just is just a number that popped?
it was a number that popped. It was afterwards when I had more conversations with people, when I was trying to figure out the cover and things like that, that
Hmm.
people started telling me, so why did you choose 88? And then it happened like that. And I've had people telling me that, what, 8 is my favorite number, or things like that, which I don't know what the meaning behind it is, but I find it interesting nonetheless.
Okay, tell us briefly what we're gonna find inside there.
Thank you. So, as the title, I would like to believe that the title explains to some way what you will find. So, you were asking me earlier about the knowledge broker, and I
Yeah.
think the book is very much, in a very large sense, the essence of the knowledge broker, because I have taken content from the podcast, from my interviews with about 50 people,
Mm-hmm.
have added my own insights and have created and put in that book 88, as I say, actionable insights, which means that someone reading can pick the one that is relevant to them, that they resonate with, and they say, that's, for example, I would like to implement this in my morning routine, or I would like, to do breath work or something.
Mm-hmm.
But there is also, as I was saying earlier, the actual action to start implementing. Of course, then you research more, you find out more, but it is like a buffet book. You just pick. You don't have to read it from end to end. You pick what is relevant for you, for your life, for your circumstances, for your needs, and then you check it out. And the insight that jumps out, and you, as I was saying earlier, it's relevant for you and resonates with you. All you have to do is give it a go and see what it does for you.
Give us one, please.
Sure, I will tell you one that it has really changed my life since I started doing it, and that is daily journaling.
Hmm.
So every morning I will. It's not. It's throughout the day. I use my journal, because it helps me structure and organize my day and my thoughts and so on. But especially in the morning, ideally in the first half an hour after I've woken up, I will write down some things. It will be some gratitude for sure, some of the things that I'm grateful for, and I have done different ways of doing it, but it's always there, some kind of gratitude practice. And then there is some affirmation that I will write down or speak out loud, but I will write it also on the
Mm,
journal. I think it has given me, as a daily practice, this groundedness that that when I wake up, I will take that time and um, ground and focus my attention on this uh, before the day starts. And then once the day starts, you're not so much of control in control of what will happen. But in the
mm,
morning, and as an extension of the journaling that I was saying, I would add to that generally a morning routine. Journaling is a part of it, but there
mhm,
are other elements of it. For me, it has made a tremendous difference, in my journey and what I do. Having a very consistent, I will say, morning routine. So
okay.
there is a chapter in particular in the book about the morning routine. There is another about meditation, about journaling, about having cold showers, or improving your emotional intelligence, or how to set goals effectively. It's a big range of personal development topics. They are neatly categorized into about 10 categories. So it's not like a random bunch of actions. So yeah, these are some of them that come to my mind, Anthony.
Okay. Thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that. And we will leave the listener or the viewer to go get the book and find out what are the other 87 actionable insights for life. Now, this is 8 eternity and 7 completion. 87. The remaining 87 insight. So, yeah, that's 88 actionable insights for life. Discover the secrets shared by experts on personal development mastery by Dr. Agi Keramidas. I just wish we had more time. I just wish that we had more time. We would talk much. You would tell us more insights. But unfortunately, our episode is almost coming to an end. But we really appreciate you coming. And we thank you for everything that you've shared with us.
You're very welcome. And if you would like to have me back at some point in the future, I will be happy to come back, Anthony.
That would be good. But before you come back, how can people follow up with you? Where can they find you?
Thank you. The first place, the best place, is my podcast, Personal Development Mastery, which you will find wherever you listen to your podcast. There is a lot of things there. And also, if you want to connect with me, find me on social media. You will find me everywhere, and send me a message. Tell me you listen to the podcast with Anthony, and I will be very happy to connect.
That's good. Do you have a website or something?
agikeramidas.com. Yes,
Oh, okay, agikeramidas.com. So that's www.agikeramidas.com.
that's it.
Yes, you can always follow up with Agi to find out about the other actionable insights that he shares. Uh, just get something to improve on your personal development journey, to help you along with your personal development journey. Uh, Tell us some last words, something that we should never forget. I know you shared us with the insight, and there's a lot of insight there, but there's that something that you would maybe request us, please, in everything you do, don't forget this.
I will ask something, or suggest, or invite, shall we say, something to the person to listening or watching right now. And I will say You know that thing that you have been wanting to do for a while and you know what it is, but you have been putting it off and saying, no, it's not the right time. I will invite you to take one tiny action step towards that. It doesn't have to be something big. You can just make a phone call or browse a website relevant to it. Just do a small action towards that and let the magic happen afterwards. And the very, very last thing I will say is stand out, don't fit in.
Stand out, don't fit in. I don't have to add anything there. Thank you very much, Agi, for coming.
Thank you.
Yes, and thank you every one of you who's been watching or listening to us. Even if you get to listen to this or watch it after we are through, we appreciate you. And we've come to the end of the show. This has been Anthony Murore, your host, and our guest, Agi Keramidas. We say once again, please stand out, don't fit in. Bye for now.